I had to do an errand. Hold on for just a minute. Oh, okay, that's a little bit better. Didn't want that glare. So, after Skillz left me this disgusting comment on my last live, I decided to just follow through. You know, they couldn't get this YouTube channel down, so now they're threatening my social security. But make sure that you check out the description of this video and go look at the links because they're important. Doug Mesner, I'm going to call him Doug, even though it's AKA John Kilrush, AKA Doug Masico, AKA Lucien Greaves, founder of the Satanic Temple. He has a lot of fake ass names, but I'm just going to call him Doug. Dougie. And so he and Emily Thorne, aka Skillz, aka Kara, that's how she introduced herself to us when I actually met her. She was at my house for 4 days. That's most likely not her name. They were intricately involved with everything that went down with Lori King. Just a brief catch up. Lori King was one of the founders of Ivory Garden. It was a survivor forum. And the weekend of the second annual Ivory Garden Trauma Conference in Seattle, this Amber Volatin, who is a transsexual, transvestite, I don't know what she identifies as, but drove 2.5 hours. Hey, Lavinia, drove 2.5 hours, 3 states over, to show up at Lori King's house unannounced. They sent her husband to go to the grocery store, and this Amber Volatin drove Lori King back to her house. First link, you can read all about it. And during the weekend of the second Ivory Garden Conference, that Sunday, Lori King ends up dead. Hey, Sherilyn, ends up dead. She was the second founder of Ivory Garden that has ended up dead. But supposedly, she committed suicide at someone's house after they showed up. And then this Amber Volatin afterwards went around and bragged to survivors that she was the one who forced Lori King to take all those pills. Lori King died in her house that weekend. That Sunday, the very last day of the conference, of the Ivory Garden Trauma Conference, the second one, Lori King ends up dead that same Sunday, committing suicide. And what it was to terrify survivors. That's what Dougie and his whole Satanic Temple bullshit has done over and over and over, to intimidate and attack survivors. He's well known going to Neil Brick's conference in Connecticut, the SMART conference, and terrorizing victims there. I assert that what investigators should do is get the roster who has gone to those SMART conferences and then compare who's dead to the rousters. Because Doug and his little Satanic Temple, Doug fancies himself a Charlie Manson. He's head of the Satanic Temple, but he doesn't get his hands dirty. He gets all of his little minions to do it. So they show up at this conference, they befriend survivors, then later on, they invite them to these secret Facebook groups where they love bomb them and tell them how wonderful they are. Again, until it changes. And then they start telling these women who suffer from multiple personality disorder that they have parts of their personality that are demonic, and the only way to get rid of those personalities is for them to kill themselves. That's how I knew that Dougie and the Satanic Temple was involved with QAnon. The minute they said that dude, someone from QAnon, convinced this guy that his kids had demon spawn seed inside of them and convinced him to take his kids to Mexico, and he harpooned them to death. It was the same shit that they were doing to survivors at the SMART conference. Same shit. Skillz, aka Emily Thorne, is the free-range humans idiot that showed up at my house the weekend that Zachary, the first time Zachary showed up to do my documentary we were going to film. She showed up at my house in this great big RV. And for the 4 days that she was there, she convinced me that Zachary was bad. I ended up throwing Zachary out and telling him to go fuck himself. Later on, when I realized who the bad one was, I called him up and apologized. Obviously, the documentary got done, even though there's so much more. The documentary is the very end of the 70 hours we spent filming in 4 days. I was exhausted. I hate that documentary because for some reason I dressed in a sweater, sitting out in the sun. I'm sweating like a pig, and I was exhausted during that interview. However, she shows up, and then I find out that she's been secretly recording everything that's been going on in my house for 4 days. And so I threw her out. That's who Skillz is. And you can read all about her. In the description, you can go to all of those. I talk about her extensively. She has an article out there. Not only do I have her article screenshotted, but all of the comments. The John Kilrush that is in the comments, that's Dougie. They're all working together. Doug Mesner, aka Lucien Greaves, founder of the Satanic Temple, as Johnny Dub, has been working in league with Thomas Schoenberger for years. They bragged to me that it was those two, and they both were bragging about it, how they got Isaac Cappy to go connect with Nathan Stoltman. Again, I don't think Nathan Stoltman is a bad guy. I think he's a useful idiot. I think he has no abilities of discernment. He's just clueless. He just goes on autopilot. And they use that. So I know that Thomas Schoenberger and Doug Mesner. I also believe that Doug Mesner is also Andy Villa, the one who said that he was going to murder my dogs, that I was going to be Isaac Cappied, that I was going to disappear. Same one. The same Andy Villa who was involved with Daniel Dowd as Pootie Twang when they came in and murdered Owen. Pootie Twang, aka Daniel Dowd, who had done all kinds of videos as Pootie Twang. He has just as many accounts as Doug does. And now, if what I saw this week is true, Daniel Dowd is reaching out to kids so he can instruct them on how they shouldn't be online meeting people like him. But he's doing it in person. He's getting them to meet. That's what this video was all about. I didn't put the link to that, but there are some people in this room who have seen that video, and I will put that link in here because they're turning on each other. They think that if I focus on this shit with Daniel Dowd, I'll stop focusing on Thomas Schoenberger and Doug Mesner and Skillz and all of that. But I know how to multitask, I find I can multitask. I can do two things at once. I can actually do several things at once, That is exactly what groomers do. That is exactly what groomers do. So you can go read the stuff. The description has a lot of links to it, and it explains everything. That is the reason why they were so desperate to get that YouTube channel that I had down. Because when you go look at those links, there are videos that go with it, but you can see that it says the video was taken off by YouTube because they reported it. That's why. That's why. Because I know damn well who Skillz is. I've known who Skillz and Emily Thorne and how whatever other names she goes with. And it was all to close down and shut survivors up. Now, the funny thing is that this group will go on and on and on about how they're winning. And yes, they're blasting me with their directed energy weapons. They think they're winning. But they and I aren't playing the same game. When I got involved with this, what heaven required of me is that I offered myself up as a martyr to all of this. That was the whole, I needed them to rise up and strike me down, which they've tried over and over and over and over. And Doug Mesner, aka Lucien Greaves, has been fundamental about this. He is Johnny Depp. And yeah, he's not getting his hands dirty because he has his minions to do it for him. He is Charlie Manson in his mind. He's so brilliant. He can get others to commit crimes, and he's totally hands-free. That's what Charlie Manson believed. Look at how Charlie Manson ended up. I would tend to disagree. That's what all of this shit is. You know, they're trying to close down survivors of ritual abuse. Michael Aquino was heavily involved with all of this. He was not only known for McMartin. No, he's dead. Charlie Manson's dead. Died in prison. Died in prison. Hey, Sharon. Died in prison. And so that's why Doug, a year ago last Christmas, did that weird statue thing at the Capitol. When all the other nativity scenes were up, they put this statue of Baphomet. And then some government dude from, I think it was Missouri, came and beheaded it. It was the talk of the nation. Everyone was talking about it. It was a distraction because Doug wanted to shy the conversation away from what I was exposing and start dominating the conversation with bullshit. QAnon. Oh, they've run you down some very fanciful rabbit holes that have led nowhere, let me point out. And that's done on purpose. Have led nowhere. That's how it's done. They lead you on a merry chase, but it's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. Oh yeah, like and subscribe to the stream. Put comments. And the blood moon eclipse. There are volcanoes that are getting ready to explode everywhere. I think it's Mount Adams that I read in Washington hasn't exploded in 1,000 years. It's getting ready to explode. There's another one there's one that's off the coast of Oregon. That's getting ready to explode. Yellowstone is having a problem. You know, full moons have a serious effect on people. Hey, Gov. Check out the description, Gov. While I'm thinking about it, someone this week informed me that they had reached out to Geo Farnsworth and Thomas Schoenberger. Don't do that. My suggestion is you don't want these assholes to focus on you. And they will. They're becoming desperate now, and they're psychotic. And they know no bounds. And you only put a target on yourself if you do that. So let me be on record. Watch their shit. Send me screenshots if you want, but don't engage with them. Not on a personal level, because they will find where you're at, and they'll find out where your family is at and where your kids go to school and all of that. They're freaks. That's the reason why I basically stopped allowing comments, because what I was getting was that people were telling me that they had strangers showing up out in public or at their work, and they would start talking about all this inappropriate stuff about their kids, about their spouses, about their family, where their kids went to school, all of this bizarre, scary shit. And then at the very end, my name would get brought up. So don't play with these assholes. Leave that to me, because it's not safe to engage these dickheads. You know, it's not safe to engage, and I don't want anyone else hurt because of me. You know, Owen got hurt because of me. Lori King was I was living, when I went out to Washington, I was living with the founder of Ivory Garden, Pat Goodwin. And Pat Goodwin, I didn't know that Doug lived in Tacoma, but I bet Pat Goodwin did. Felicity. She was a co-founder. At the end, she was the only one running it. The two conferences. Lori King showed up at the first one, along with this Amber Volatin, but she was busy getting murdered on the second one, so obviously she wasn't in Seattle. Same weekend. And then Lori King's husband ended up dead less than a year later. So obviously he had a problem. He knew what was going on. You know? I'm in this because when I made the deal with heaven that I did, I was told that I had to offer myself up as a martyr. And no matter what I lost, no matter how bad the shit got, no matter what they did to me, I had to keep going. And I have. That's why I've been at this. That's the why I'm at it still. Because I'm doing what heaven required. Like I said, heaven always asks me to do shit that's out of my comfort level. You know, I'm always getting told to do stuff, never understanding why. But my faith is that I just continue doing it. Who was sending me all the threats? Who told me that they were set up in Erling, Iowa before I even got there? Doug Mesner, aka Lucien Greaves. They were working with my sheriff. That's what was happening. They were working with my sheriff, who covered their ass with that gas station explosion. You know? Sharon, I can only suggest, you guys are going to do what you're going to do. You know? And I respect your guys' choices. You all have choices. And I'm not saying who reached out to him, but my thing was, I caution people not to engage with them. I caution people not to engage with them. But you all have to make your own choices. And you have to come to your own conclusions. I'm not here to brainwash anybody. You know, I encourage you to investigate the things that I'm saying. Look into it. Don't just look at what I have to say as gospel. Judge it yourself. Come to your own conclusions. Just have a level of discernment and be careful how you do it. Because these dickheads are freaks. And they are so capable of murder. And then they dance around about it. That's what they're so afraid of. They haven't covered their tracks at all. That's the reason why they don't want to be investigated. Oh, they'll say they want to be investigated. And yet, now that they can't get this channel down, now they're trying to go after my Social Security, trying to report me for fraud. And I have to say, I'm not worried that they're going to catch me in fraud, but considering what Elon Musk is doing, I have my own misgivings. But Elon Musk is a Nazi. He did a Nazi salute at CPAC twice in a row. I know they will tell people whatever they want them to hear. Oh, it was a Roman salute. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. And then Bannon did it. You know, they are worried. They're worried. And I can't wait to hear what Daniel Dowd has to say about him trying to groom kids, meeting underage kids out in public. I haven't seen the video, but I had people who did watch the video who told me all about it. Told me, oh, well, you won't be upset because the dude who's calling him out, I'll like. Because he's calling him out because he's a fucking freak. You know, he's calling Daniel Dowd out, I guess. You know? Cheryl and puke. That's it. Makes my skin crawl. But Skillz, a.k.a. Emily Thorne, Johnny Dubb, a.k.a. Doug Mesner, a.k.a. Lucien Greaves, just this last week tried to say that Skillz is Nathan Stoltman's wife or ex-wife. I guess they're separated now. I don't know. I don't get into the gossip. I heard that his cat died, and that just broke my heart because his cat was amazing. He always had his cat in his video. And the poor guy, of course they're going to target him now. He's at his lowest point. That's what these assholes do. They're disgusting pukeheads. The reason why they get so mad at me is because people don't like them. People like me, you know? But they don't like them because they're unlikable. They're abominations. You know, they run around telling themselves that all their evil shit makes them superior to everyone, and it doesn't. It just makes them pieces of shit. And then they get mad that people don't respect them. And again, you don't have to take my word. Investigate what I say. You know, look into what I'm saying. Boy, the sun is kind of bright. I apologize. But they're abominations. They go out of their way to be an abomination to heaven. The beast that suffered a mortal blow that rises back to power is the Nazi fascist bullshit. But what they don't get is that this time, heaven is here. Third time is a charm. People believe Napoleon was the first. Hitler was the second. And obviously Trump thinks he's the third. Him selling Teslas on the White House lawn, there are pictures out there showing how Hitler did the same thing to one of his biggest donors back in 1939. They're just repeating history all over again. But most people don't read, let alone history books. You know? There's so much more that can be proved. You know? I don't know what the Trevor Project is, Lavinia. It's hard for me to keep up because, like Saki just said, there is so much to all of this. But the free-range humans idiot, I believe, is Emily Thorne, a.k.a. Skillz. And what fucking Skillz? I never understood that. What's the Skillz thing? Thank you, because I do have to apologize, you guys. I'm not a big writer. So if you send me an email and I just send you a sentence or two, do not take it personally. Because it's not meant to be personal. I don't, because I do everything on my phone. And phone is hunt and peck. And I have to keep up with their emails, sending them to the cops and explaining everything that's going on. That takes so much time. You know, yesterday it was 70 degrees. Today it's freezing. You know, Yesterday it was beautiful, and I was out working in my yard, transplanting roses and stuff like that. They're trying to destroy my finances. I have no idea. I've called Social Security. So if something comes up, they're supposed to get a hold of me. And so we'll see. But what I keep getting told is have faith. Everything they have done to me has failed thus far. So I have to just maintain that that's what's going to happen, you know? But Dougie, as Lucien Greaves, his whole MO is going out and taking out survivors and advocates. And he was involved with Isaac Cappy along with Thomas Schoenberger, heavily involved by their own admission. And people have seen their emails, not just police, not just investigators, not just media, but just normal people. Because I keep adding to these lists where I send the shit out, you know? And so people have seen what I'm talking about. And of course they say, show your evidence, show your evidence. I'm not a dumbass. Of course I'm not going to show any evidence. What, so they can go scrub it? You know? JD Delay. JD Delay is that prison dude, right? That talks about the prison stuff, you know? And they are luring children to access. Their parents don't know what Daniel Dowd is doing. And Dougie sent me that link, you know? It was an X thing, but there was a link to it. I didn't realize there was a whole 15-minute video that went with it, you know? But then I don't really go into their stuff. I just forward it out because Daniel Dowd makes my skin crawl. They all make my skin crawl, you know? Doug Mesner, Lucien Greaves, founder of the Satanic Temple, has always made my skin crawl. Kara, she was a trip, you know? She was a trip. I've heard of Mark Passio. Good things. I've heard a lot of good things about Mark Passio, actually. I've heard of Teal Swan, Savali, but I don't really look into him. Oh, and you guys heard the voicemail that he left me last time. A 2-minute and like 38-second, and I didn't even listen to it. And then I was told, don't bother. He's just calling you names, you know, saying that he's winning the argument because I won't argue with him, you know? And what would be the point of arguing with them? They're just gonna lie. I've been at this game for so long, I know how this game works. It's just like Skillz. If you go read the comment that she left on my last live, she says I'm a liar because she never DM'd me. So then I posted how she DM'd me. And instead of saying, okay, I DM'd you, she tried to twist it around and then throw it back at me. That's how it works, you know? You guys, because you guys get the shit. And I'm glad that you're feeling better, Gov. There are no kids on my station. When I sign up for this, it asks me if this live is meant for kids, and I always say no. And anyone who identifies themselves as a child or identifies that there are children in the room with them, I'll block your ass immediately. Kids do not need to hear what I'm saying, and I swear too much. You know, I try not to swear. Hey, Matthew, I try not to swear, but yeah. I guess the whole message with Daniel Dowd, he speaks about himself in third person. But DavidShurter doesn't really talk about himself in third person because DavidShurter actually thinks that he's a first person. So DavidShurter doesn't have any need to actually talk about DavidShurter in the third person because DavidShurter thinks when DavidShurter speaks about himself, he speaks about himself in the first person. Because when I say David Shurter thinks this or David Shurter sounds that, I sound like a fucking crazy person. It sounds insane. It's hard to do it. It's hard to do it. You know, it's hard to, I just don't understand talking about yourself in third person. Lavinia, the reason why you're not sleeping well is because shit is getting ready to go down. Anybody who is empathic at all can feel the energy shift. And something bad is coming down, and it's God. It's not them. Their shit is bad, yes. What they're doing is bad. But there is a shift coming that is, you can feel it. We just got hit with the huge X flare again. Another X flare. You know? It makes people sound like they're psycho. Why would you speak about yourself in third person? If I was writing a short story, then I might refer to myself as in a third person. But that's writing something as a story. But when I'm speaking, I am David Shurter. So I'm going to say, I think this. This is what I do. This is how I think. This is what I believe. It sounds weird and it's exhausting to go on and on and on and speak about yourself in third person. I just don't get it. I just don't get it. And I didn't listen to it, but enough people did listen to it and people reached out to me and were just like, and I'm not his daddy either. It's gross. Gov, you're one of the chosen. Now that I'm pretty sure you're not Thomas, I can go back to liking you. Again, I make choices. Sometimes the choices that I make are not correct. I am still here because I have had to be paranoid. And speaking about music, that one time it not only raised red flags for me, but it raised red flags for everybody. But you want to know what? Thomas isn't even a real musician. And it's not like there aren't musicians out there, you know? I'm at peace. I'm at peace. I'm hoping that heaven and our Father will be at least happy with that I tried, you know? Haven't been perfect. But I certainly don't go out of my way to be shitty. And when I do make mistakes, like I did with Gov, I always come clean and I try to apologize. You know, because Gov is not Thomas, you know. The last time I went to a chiropractor, I did two things in a row, and I don't know which one it was. I ended up going to Unity Church. This was before everything happened with my father, with my dad dying and all of that. But I went and had, what do they do when they do energy work? I don't remember what it's called, but she did energy work on me. There's a name for it, a special name. I forget what the name of it is. And so she did that. And then after she was done, she was all freaked out because she said that there was a man across the room glaring at her the whole time she was doing it. I don't remember what that's called. Reiki. She did Reiki on me. But then right after I got that done, I went straight from there to the chiropractor who adjusted my neck. And whatever he did to my neck, I couldn't move my head for about a week and a half. I never did Reiki again, and I never did chiropractic again. If I hurt myself, I just have to get over it, you know? I don't do chiropractic stuff. There's undeniable faith. That's just it. I have undeniable faith. That's why I'm here where I'm at. Because I was told by heaven to do what I am doing. And fuck the consequences. You know, I like dance music too. I haven't been dancing for 30 years. my own family couldn't handle my energy either, Lavinia. My dogs have a problem. I'm a DJ, not a piano composer. I would love DJ. I love DJ. I would love, if I had to live life over again, I would learn how to play the piano. That's the one thing that I wish that I would have done, was learn piano. I can read music because I can sing. But yeah, Saki, you guys are gonna get slammed. You guys are gonna get slammed. The whole East Coast, they're considering huge, huge tornadoes. I was in music all of my high school life. I'm really good at reading music. I know what notes sound like what. Okay, I don't know what a screamo artist is, Sharon. This is great. I actually am done instructing, so I'm having a really good time with the conversation. It can go wherever it wants to now. I just needed to get out there and actually say the shit that I needed to say, you know? And I'm not worried if my Social Security gets screwed up, and God knows they're saying that it could be screwed up with everyone. I'm not worried. I think God will provide, you know? I like rock, you know? I don't much care for, I'm not a Lady Gaga, Madonna. Some of the Madonna back in the 80s when I was dancing, that was kind of fun, but some of the, I like dance music, or I used to like dance music when I danced, but I will have to say that rock and hard rock is more, I identify more with it, you know? Not the weird devil lover shit, but there is some, you know, and even Christian music now, some Christian rock has good, you know, and I like female voices. I like male voices too. I was laughing. I met a famous person when I was back in the 80s. It was the late 80s. I was with a friend who had a cabin, and it was in a really rich area. It was a cabin on a lake. And the dude next door was selling a boat and invited us over to go see the boat, to go meet this guy. And so I went and met this guy who was with this beautiful girlfriend. He was unattractive, but he was with his girlfriend. And I was teasing him. We were all laughing. Everyone got mad because they stayed for a beer. The dude who was selling the boat invited them to stay with the beer, and they ignored everyone else. But we were laughing, the two of them and me, and we were laughing. And then they left, and my friend Jeff looked at me and said, "You don't even have a clue who that is, do you?" And I had no clue who he was. He's super, super nice guy. And his girlfriend was just, they were just the sweetest couple. And they were funny. Come to find out, the dude was Steven Tyler from Aerosmith. But it wasn't music back then that I listened to, so I didn't have a clue who he was. And I think that's the reason why they liked me, because I wasn't treating them all weird. I didn't have a clue who they were. They were just normal people, you know? Okay, blood rituals are, what happened in Hummel Park was always blood rituals. Blood rituals, they have a sacrifice. For me, it was prepubescent young boys. And what they do is they torture these boys. They slice and dice them. They cut skin off of them while they're still alive, and they're screaming and all of that. And this is all being done to give tribute to their spiritual principalities. And so that's what ends up happening with blood sacrifice, is that they and then you're forced to eat the flesh while the kids are screaming. You're supposed to you're, you know, and then afterwards they end up slicing the kid. Usually with my dad, their heart got cut out. And when you cut someone's heart out and you pull it out, it doesn't stop beating right away. It still beats. And they were when I was a kid, they were doing that, saying that it was a tribute to me, which contributed to my survivor guilt. So then after they kill the kid, they drain the blood into a chalice, and everybody drinks the blood on the chalice. It has nothing to do with the adrenochrome or however the fuck you say it. It's staying young. What ends up happening is that they torture these kids, and there's so many endorphins that the brain is putting off into the brain or into the blood. It's a power trip. Well, so all these endorphins go into the blood. So the blood acts like an aphrodisiac. And so they all drink the blood, and then everybody fucks everyone. I always got gang raped. After every fucking blood sacrifice, I got gang raped. So that's what blood ritual is. It's exactly what it sounds. Doing rituals that involve blood. And it's, and so it's the reason why I used to not be able to sleep, because I would dream of little boys screaming every time I closed my eyes. Lots and lots and lots of therapy. And even now, I probably shouldn't have even talked about it. It stresses me the fuck out. As you can imagine. Bad memories. That's where the adrenochrome, the whole thing about it is that the adrenochrome thing is bullshit. It's bullshit. It's so much more base than that. It's just so much more base than that. It's not about, that's why I tell you, if you invite these fucking devil lovers to your house, hide your kids, hide your pets, hide your silverware, hide your plungers, make sure that you have a lot of fucking Clorox wipes, because God knows they could be sticking your doorknobs up their ass. Anything they can. They're fucking sex addicts. They are an abomination. Fucking abominations. They do stupid, sick ass shit because it makes them feel fucking powerful. But they don't do it out in the open, they do it in the secret. Sorry. I'm gonna pray, because this conversation, and it's not your fault, Lavinia. It's I just haven't talked about this shit like this for a long time. It's just, I haven't done it for a long time. It stresses me out. Heaven, we come to you as your children. I come to you as your child. We ask that you fill us with grace, and you deal with these fucking abominations in the harshest way possible, and help us to help each other. Sorry. I wasn't expecting to have this freak me out like this. I apologize. We come to you. We're grateful that you sent your son, Jesus Christ. Teach us the word. We're in really rough days. And personally, on a personal note, I just ask that everything I've gone through, that you make it worth it. You told me that it would be awful, but in the end it would be worth it, and that's all I want. That the faithful who are obedient to the word get to go to the new earth and live life the way it was meant to be lived. And that these fucking abominations get claimed by the dark, where they get to go through their own fucking shit for the rest of every moment of eternity. That they get to experience what they're so eager to push off on other people, to do to other people. Fuck them. And I ask that you do that, literally, figuratively, in every way. Hurt them in every way. And I know that's not loving. But anyway, I apologize for this prayer sucking. And, but we are grateful that you sent your son, our brother down, Jesus Christ, to teach us about the word and how to emulate it. I'm not doing a great job of it right now, but just help us support each other and get each other through this so that at least those of us who are able to get through this with our souls intact. And I say these things gratefully and lovingly in your son's name, Jesus Christ. Amen. You're not responsible, Lavinia. You're not responsible. You wanted to know, I said that there was no question. I didn't mean to freak out like that. You know? You guys just don't understand the shit that I've had to deal with. The memories that I have. There's a whole reason why I did everything I could to repress all of this. Victims who go through this shit, repression is the only thing that gets us through. Because remembering all of this shit every day of our lives, you couldn't get through it. You couldn't get through it, you know? And it's bad stuff, you know? But you freaked out my dogs. They're all here right now, worried about me, you know? Don't worry about Lavinia, but now you know. That's the shit. That's what it's all about. You know? You know, Heather, my therapist, has told me over and over and over, most guys end up dead or in jail. Oh, you're forgiven, Lavinia. There's nothing to forgive. You know, there's nothing to forgive. And people don't know. You know? I did not expect it to affect me the way it did today. But I haven't thought about it in a long time. You know, I have not thought about it in a very, very long time. The blizzard that we had, people lost trees. It was terrible. Our weather hasn't been all that bad, you know. Oh, Lavinia, don't feel bad. You had a question, and I'm glad that I dealt with it. I'm really glad. And there are other people in the room, obviously, that are happy that you asked, you know? You're not responsible for my emotions or my behavior. Don't feel awful, you know? To be quite honest, what you've convinced me is after I get off here, I'm just going to go take a bath. I don't have any money to leave. If I had money to leave, I would go to Omaha. I would get the hell out of here. But I'm so broke, you know? No, I know you didn't ask to get off on it. You had a legitimate question, and a lot of people do not understand. Unless you know, you don't know what blood ritual is. And I've talked about blood ritual, but when I talk about it, there's always an emotional disconnect when I talk about it. I just didn't realize that actually having to go into detail and explain what it was would bring all of that. But I've had a lot of therapy. I'm better now. You know, had I not gone through therapy, this shit could have set me off for weeks. I mean, but now I can again compartmentalize it and realize, you know, it's not happening to me, but I bet in that blood moon, I bet that blood moon, they fucking did blood rituals. I know they did. Blood moons are their favorite. You know, they need to be stopped. They need to be stopped. Their bullshit needs to be stopped in the worst way. That's why I'm here. Going through everything. And they have been blasting the shit out of me with their directed energy weapons. It has been fucking miserable. You know? I just don't know what would happen if I walked into a, you know, room where someone was hurting a kid. I think I would end up losing my fucking mind. You know? Everyone needs to take action because I'm not the only one who's dealt with this. There's a slew of people out here. It's just I'm the most vocal, you know? I seem to be very vocal, but, you know, oh, sorry. They need to be stopped. They need to be stopped. My blog, DavidShurter.com, which if you look in the description, that's where all that stuff is in the description. I'm blowing my nose. I'm still, I used to cry for days and days and days on end over this stuff. At least I don't do that anymore. But that's because I put action to it, And there are days where I feel like I have accomplished nothing. That's the survivor guilt that I have, is that I feel survivor guilt because I survived when somebody did. I probably should get off here now. Oh, fuck. I'm sorry. They're gonna fucking love this one. Oh, they're gonna watch it and just be jacking off. Cause I got emotional. I can't wait for the emails and shit for this one. That's why I don't do this when I'm on here. Because it gets they laugh and insult me and I have a problem filling my heart with love when it comes to them. Because the sad part about it is, honestly, guys, my heart is filled with fucking hate for them. I hate them. I hate them. I hate them. In the worst way, I hate them. I want to hurt them, And so, and they don't ever stop. They just do the shit, We all have our roles to play, We all are being called, and all of us have different roles to play in all of this, but we all have a role. And they have no soul. Thank you, Lavinia. And it's not your fault. Asking me questions, I said that every question, I just didn't realize it was going to have the reaction that it had. I just didn't realize that I was going to react the way I did. And I apologize for that, because I try to stay composed when I do these, And I try to stay composed for several reasons. One, I don't like to, emotion is great, but for me, I've always been a very private person. And so when I have emotion, I rarely let people see that. And again, I can't wait to get off here and then look at my fucking emails, because I'm sure I'm going to have emails where they're laughing at me about it, and berating me and all of that. And it gets tiring to deal with these idiots in a way that I cannot even begin. Some of you understand because you get the emails. Because when I forward, I started to include people, And Lavinia, you didn't cause me pain. You did not. You had no idea. I had no idea, and you didn't do it intentionally. Asking me questions, I do blind carbon copy all the time, and I send it out to everyone that I possibly can think of, because it's important for you guys to see. That way you don't have to just take my word for it. You guys can see what it is. And these people are fucking hateful. They're hateful, and they dance around like fucking baboons in heat, thinking they can't be touched. And it's irritating. It's irritating because I want to reach out and touch them in the worst fucking way. But I've also been told by heaven that that is not my place. Vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. And so it is not my place. And I can only do what I have permission to do. That's it, you know? I got that, Gov. And the Iowa State Patrol, the only problem that I have is the Iowa State Patrol is based in Denison. And Denison is a very, very bad place. My stepmother grew up in Denison. I've had so many people I've had to deal with that were just the most vile people, and they were from Denison. That's why I never go to Denison. Denison is 30 minutes away. But Council Bluffs, Omaha is 40 minutes away. Why wouldn't I just go to Council Bluffs, Omaha? You know? There's still scabs on a butt. LOL. They do get connected. Sorry. My nose is now running. And I have blood in my nose for some reason. Sorry. Not to be gross. Anyway, so, well, this has been an interesting live. I do have to say, this has been an interesting live. I don't like to blow my nose in front of people. It's just, when I start to ball, my nose runs. That's kind of, you know. Oh, the thing about it is that they have followed me everywhere. I had someone close to me try to convince me to sell all my shit and move to Thailand. But they follow me everywhere, and I'm not going someplace where they could just take me out. That's what they did to Lori King. A month before they killed her, they got her to take everything down. There is a lot of love in here, Sherilyn. You know? And Lavinia, I do agree. You know? I had no idea that this live was going to go this way. I was all dressed up to be Mr. Instructor Teacher stuff, and when I wear a bow tie, it usually means I have serious shit that I want to present. That's otherwise I just wear whatever I want to wear. But when I want to, you know, and I don't know if you guys can see it, it's my robot baby tie. This is the red one. You know, it's just, it's 30s, and it's just, you know, they're all up here. One's at my feet, one's out in the hallway. They're all up here because they don't often see me cry. And when they do, they're just very loving, caring. That's the reason why they threaten to kill my dogs all the time, you know? And that's their favorite thing, is to threaten my dogs. You know, I think I'm going to pray again, Gov. That's just, I'm going to pray again. Now that I'm back to normal, you know, let me do a decent prayer. Heaven, we come to you as your children. We know that we are at the end. We are in the time of judgment. And the best thing that we can do is emulate and live the word and aspire to inspire others to do the same. And we all are finding each other. It is like this almost psychic connection that all around the world, we're all coming together and actually joining forces and helping each other, because we all have different roles, but we're all on the same path. And that path was taught to us by our brother, your son, Jesus Christ. And it has everything to do with the word. And we are grateful beyond measure that you came and sent your son down to instruct and solidify the word in our minds. His teachings are infallible. and they are the way things are. And this evil that we've had to endure all of our lives, because it's gone on forever, is now getting ready to come to an end, and you are getting ready to fulfill your promises. You know, the Beatitudes are now starting to to we can see your promises in front of us, and the fact that you are about to fulfill those promises, and it fills all of our hearts with joy. And we ask that you keep us strong in the word, and you bring us together in a way that we are able to support each other and help each other. And we're grateful beyond measure. We're here for a purpose. Each one of us is here for a purpose. Each one of us have a different purpose, but we're all here for a purpose. And we're grateful for that. And no, at least for me, none of this would have been possible had you not sent your son, our brother Jesus Christ, down to teach us the word. Because as you know, I went into it at the beginning to tear it apart. And in the end, it saved me because I realized the truth in what was being presented. And it saved my soul. In so many ways, it saved my soul. And I think it's done the same for others. And we are grateful. We are grateful for you. We are grateful for each other. I'm grateful for each other. I had no idea when you told me to start opening up comments and start talking about Isaac Cappy that I would be here now. I didn't see it. And you know that I didn't want to do it. And yet you've never led me wrong. And you've always protected me. And it's all about faith, being sure of what we hope for and certain of what we do not see. And we know that you are there. You are beside us, within us, all around us. You are everything, the light and the dark. And we are grateful that we are your children. And even when the going isn't easy, we're grateful that you still love us to keep us going. And I say these things with so much gratitude and so much love. And we thank you for you sending your son, our brother Jesus Christ, to show us the way. And we say these things in his name, Jesus Christ. Amen. That's a better prayer. You know, that's a better prayer. I'm glad that you were here, Lavinia. I'm exhausted now. I'm very tired. I was tired before, but now that I've had my little emotional outburst, you know, I'm grateful for all of you. I'm grateful. Sharon, Lavinia, LOL, Gov, Sherilyn. I know I'm missing people. Some of you actually are just wonderful. No, you are special. You're special to me. You know, it was a lot of emotional processing. Had no idea what I was going to get involved with when I started today's. You know, I had no idea. And I'm grateful. I am probably going to go fill up a bath and lay in a bath for about an hour and just relax because, I'm exhausted now. I don't like to show emotion. I just don't. I am. My cherry limeade. No aspartame. It's just bubbly water. And I'm glad you guys are all in my tribe too. There's an army of us here. There's an army of us here. But now you guys can see what kind of a psycho I can become when the emotional stuff starts to take over. I end up becoming a roller coaster. But I'm better now. I'm tired, because this was exhausting, draining, but it was beautiful. That's it, Lavinia. It was intense, but everything is providence. Everything is providence. God has a hold of everything right now, and all of us. And I did get to see the blood moon because my dogs woke me up to go pee. So at 2 o'clock in the morning, I go outside and look up and see the moon. You know, God does everything. God has providence over my life. So I guess I should like, subscribe, and share this video. Liking actually helps out a lot. I don't like my own stuff. I think that's weird when you like your own stuff. But so I don't. Every once in a while, I'll do it. You know, everything with electricity is done now. You know, I will. My dogs had to go out, so I ended up going outside with them and looking up in the sky and seeing it. Blood moons are not my favorite. You can now, especially after this live, see why. You know, they're just not my favorite. And but I did see it, you know, and I journeyed that morning before and prayed all day because I knew the kind of shit that was going to go down with that blood moon. And that's the reason why I get so upset sometimes, because it's not my place to stop it, and yet that's all I want to do. But the only one who can stop it is God, heaven. Heaven is the only one who's going to bring an end to this. And I do believe that heaven is about ready to. And I actually light 4 candles. I have a tree that has 4 candles, so I light all of them. Thank you, Sharon. I'm going to get off here, though, because like I said, I'm exhausted now. And I have to go spend some time with my puppies because this live stressed them out. They're just all concerned about me. And so thanks, guys. This was kind of an intense live. Look at the description. Go read those videos or go read those links. I'm sorry, they got that one YouTube station down, so you can't watch any of the videos because it says it was suspended or terminated or something, but YouTube did that. They went out of their way to get that down. And it's all because now I realize that when I pulled up the stuff about Lori King and especially Kara, that free range humans idiot, now I know why they wanted that station down so bad. But Skillz, as far as I'm concerned, and I have always thought this, Emily Thorne is the same as Skillz, and it's that free range humans person. I doubt her name is Kara. That's the name she introduced herself to us when she came and spent 4 days with us. I bet that's not her name. But it's the free range humans person. And one of those links not only has all of the screenshots of the stuff, and I didn't look, but I think if you compare what I have screenshots of that I took from her stuff, and you compare it to what it is now, she rewrote the article. Because before she said I wanted to be a cult leader, you know, that was her contention before, and now it's just I'm a fraud, I'm a grifter, you know, I'm grifting, you know. I wrote a book that I haven't even come close to achieving the cash back that I spent on it. Oh, that should be, this is the book, you know. If you live out of the United States, it's cheaper to just get it on Amazon, to be quite honest. I get pennies on the dollar on Amazon. They sell it, I think, for $18. I think I get $3 off of each book. It's just bait. It's never been about the cash. And really, I prefer people to go to my blog and go up above and read the extended version, exactly what I wrote, because the spiritual stuff is in there. And that's what I feel is important, is the spiritual stuff. You know, the investigation, all of that stuff, that's all great, but it's the spiritual stuff that will help people actually get on the right path, I believe. It's what I went through to find the right path. It's just my experiences. I am touched by angels, Lavinia. God has a hold of me in a way that's the only reason why I'm still here. Because they've tried to take me out more than once. Their fucking directed energy weapon shit is on top of me so hard right now. I almost thought that I couldn't do this because I was having a hard time thinking. That is kind of why my emotions are, I don't have my emotions in check like I generally do. Because it's been hard because this directed energy weapon bullshit, they're trying to shut me down in the worst fucking way. They're trying to shut me down in the worst way. And it's exhausting to deal with. It's exhausting. I do feel drained too. I hope that what I said today helps you guys. You know, that's all I ever want, is to help people. You know, it's not about me, it's about the word. And I'm just one. I'm a servant. I am definitely over the target. That's the reason why Doug Mesner as Johnny Dub sent me that shit about Daniel Dowd, because they wanted me to focus on that, you know? And I don't think that Daniel Dowd can leave me another voicemail because I think my voicemail is full. I've let them fill up my voicemail so I don't get voicemails anymore. You want to get a hold of me, text me. You know, that's no more voicemails because it's just irritating to deal with. Even though when I send them out, the last one I sent out made people laugh because that dude is so slimy and he talks about himself in third person, which is just still the weirdest fucking thing. Who does that? You know, psychotic people. That's who does that. Psychotic people. And so it's, I don't think, I haven't heard from him, but that's because God only knows what he's done to my Social Security. I called them and they said nothing was up. But I think it's more that they want me to worry about it. And I have. They succeeded for a while. But then I journey and God keeps telling me, dude, stop. Just have faith. You know? And so I've had to just, I have faith. No matter what happens, I have faith. And so whatever is going to happen is going to happen. And whatever is going to happen, whatever happens is providence. It's because it's supposed to happen. But who knows? You know? They're able to do all kinds of shit that, you know, blow up a fucking gas station and get away with it, which is a domestic terrorist attack. If you blew up a gas station, if any of us blew up a gas station, it would be considered domestic terrorism, would it not? But for them, they get the sheriff to lie about it. They murdered Owen, you know? Lie about it, you know? It's just, and they bragged about it. The only reason I knew that they killed Owen is because they bragged about it and wanted me to know, you know? And that's the only way, that's the only reason, because I would have never figured. I would have just figured that shit happens, you know? And he is getting touched by God's promises. I think that heaven is fucking with them. And I know Dougie's sick. I know Dougie's sick. And they're desperate. That's the reason why I'll end this by saying the same thing. Don't engage with them. I know that some of you, if they are sick, it just makes them more of a threat because they're desperate, you know? I'll look at that. Global underground. I like underground music. I like music that has actual words with it. Yeah, that has meaning. I don't, they are weakening. They are weakening, but it makes them more desperate and it makes them more volatile. And they're not the group. Isaac Cappy figured, oh, no, Lavinia, they're fighting. Trust me. They're not succeeding, at least with me so far. But, and don't engage. Isaac Cappy did not take my advice because I gave him the same advice I'm giving all of you now. And look at what happened. I gave him the same advice. Don't engage with them. Watch what they're doing. If you get screenshots, that's great. That's great. Because I share the screenshots that people send me, but I never let anyone know who's sending them to me. And I understand how I understand. Oh, I know. And the person that I'm talking about knows who they are, and we've had discussions, and I'm not going to say who that is either. But I don't want to be responsible for anyone else getting hurt. And whether or not it would be my responsibility, no, Saki, it wasn't you. It wasn't you. You don't engage with them. You just are really good at looking into stuff and saying, oh, you need to look at this. I don't really have links. I don't know how to get links because I do everything on my phone. PayPal and Venmo, if you go in, is just D, my first initial and my last name, DavidShurter. Like I said, they're all worried about me. Oh, yes. Are you looking in the camera? Oh, thank you for those kisses. Thank you for those kisses. I love you too. Oh, I love you too. Thank you for those kisses. So, as you can see, yeah, PayPal and Venmo is just DavidShurter. As you can see, they're worried about me. And anything that you think I should know, and just realize I'll answer back. But if you I did get your picture of the bunnies. So cute. But the minute I saw them, I thought, oh my God, Bridget would have a heyday. That's why I don't let anybody bring their dogs over anymore. Knowledge is power, And that's why I'm glad you asked me what you did, Lavinia. You couldn't have controlled the emotional outburst that I had. I didn't think I was going to have that emotional outburst. And so, but I'm glad because knowing is half the battle, or sometimes even more. Better be forewarned. Forewarned is forearmed, and understanding that is important. But I got to get off here because I have puppies that are just demanding my attentions. They were upset. We were supposed to face it today. I'm not going to cut my hair. I like my hair. Go be the fashion police with someone else. I like my hair. Besides, if I cut my hair, that means I have to cut my hair every 6 weeks. And cutting my hair every 6 weeks means I have to pay $40 to $45 every 6 weeks for my haircut. That's food money or bill money or whatever. That's money I can't afford. So that's how I started getting long hair, because I couldn't afford haircuts. And now I'm done with the ugly stage. Now it's just going to grow in and grow longer. And so I just keep it. Exactly. Samson didn't cut his hair. Delilah cut his hair. But look at what happened. I actually like my long hair. It makes me stand out here too, as do the bow ties. Okay, I got to get off here. I am being beckoned. So thank you guys so much. This has been a really good live. This has. Unexpected, intense, but it was a really good live. No, you can't jump. Some people just have opinions. Not everyone is them. Not everyone is them. Some people just, you know, that's just when I come on here, but when I go out and about, like when I have to go, I always pull my hair back. And if a biker dude in town has long hair, he's just the coolest dude. And he, I looked at his hair, and he has like 2 or 3 ties. So it's a ponytail, but it's not a ponytail. It's just because it's tied, and then you have another tie a little bit down, and then another tie a little bit down, and it makes it hang just as like a ponytail. It's very Native American, and he looks like he could be part Native American, and but it gave me the idea. So now that's what I've been doing is that I put it in a ponytail, and then I put another one down below, and then another. I can get 3 ties in my hair, and then it just hangs like a. And otherwise, the biggest issue that I have with long hair, especially when I'm eating, is I have to tie it back when I'm eating because there's nothing more disgusting than getting a mouthful of hair, and you can't help it sometimes. And the other thing is that when I'm in the car or I'm out in the wind with long hair, it whips around, it gets into my face and all of that, and I hate it. So usually I have it tied back. If I have a hat on, sometimes I have my hair down. And I have people in town who actually say, "You never have your hair down. It looks really good down." But it's a pain in the ass when it's down. And now it's getting long, so if I lean back in a chair, it gets caught, and I have to pull my hair out because it gets caught. Long hair is different than short hair, it does. But the coolest thing about it is in the summer, I have this big bald spot right here in the back of my head. And the long hair, if I tie it up, I can cover up that bald spot and I don't have to wear a hat out in the sun. Otherwise, it fries the crown of my head, and it hurts. A sunburned scalp hurts, let me tell you. And so I'm petite in stature. My sister was 5'5". She was itty bitty, itty bitty. That's why I don't think that we had the same dad. My mom was kind of like that. She was a trip. Loved my mom, but had the morals of an alley cat, unfortunately, and especially being an alcoholic. And I wish I was thin. I wish I was thinner, but poverty has gotten me. I have lost weight, and not to be gross, but at least I'm not one of those people around here who looks down and can't see my own junk. My stomach isn't so big, I can still see my junk. There are people that I don't think have seen their junk in years. And with that incredibly inappropriate comment, I'm going to get off here. Ciao, guys. I'll see you on Tuesday. I'll be back on Tuesday. I think Saturday mornings are where I'm going to focus on from now on. So Saturday mornings, and I usually do in the morning, Tuesday and Thursday too. Sometimes I do in the afternoon, but look for me on Tuesday and Thursday mornings, and then Saturday mornings. And so, and with that said, I'll talk to you guys soon. This has been a pleasure. Thank you. Oh my God. Make sure you wash your junk thoroughly. I just shave down there because I don't like it. There's nothing like zipping up your zipper and getting pubic hair in your zipper. So I keep it, even though I've been celibate for years, going on 14 years, I still don't like that area to be overgrown. And I just, again, it's going inappropriate. I'm getting off of here. I'll talk to you guys soon.